Welcome, your saltwater guide, Captain Dave Hansen, your saltwater guide, and we're going live right now, and we are back home. We got home. We got the couch. We got home about an hour and a half ago. We got the game plans all posted just in time. We got everything going, and we are full speed here at the studio. We got our new mic. We got our new camera. Everything's flying along, fine as wine. And I just want to welcome y'all. I hope you're going to join us tonight. And if not, we'll see you sometime when you're watching this show. But it's Thursday, gang. Game Plan Thursday. We're live here. Let me know how you like the new sound, the new camera, everything. Not only did we run up there to get Kelly a new couch, but we ran up there to get all of you a new microphone. We went up there to get you guys a new camera. We went up there to get all kinds of stuff for this production. We're moving up to the next level, gang, because of all your views. That silly video we keep talking about, it's at 35 million views now on Instagram. We don't understand it. We don't know why, but we are very, very happy. We are very, very happy. And it's all because of all of you. So thank you very much. If you like the new sound, let us know. Leave a message. We're pretty excited. It sounds great. So I'm excited. I hope you are. And we're going to finish what we were talking about last night. Before Bill jumped on with us, we were talking about how important it is to learn the techniques to be successful in wintertime fishing on your boats. We're talking fishing on your private boat and what it's like to make sure that you're ready for what's going to happen now. So what I want to talk about tonight is the techniques that I believe are going to make all the difference in the world, whether you catch fish in the wintertime or not. And I told you guys, and there's a lot of people on here, Tim Ogilvy, Darren, Jason, John Stanley, Justin Botrell. A lot of people will tell you this artificial reef system that the state of California, with our fishing wildlife money, is downtown, probably some of the best fishing you can probably experience on your own in Southern California in the wintertime. What lives on the artificial reefs? Everything: halibut, sand bass, sargo, calico bass, white sea bass, yellowtail. There's just a plethora of fish that live on these artificial reefs. But something I wanted to talk about that's really crazy is there's only one artificial reef that was set in the right depth. And that was when Russ Iser built Iser's Reef. That's the only reef that was set in the right depth. All these artificial reefs should have been set in deeper water. Like when they built the Wheeler North Reef off of San Clemente, between the pier and Cotton's Point, that reef was put on top of a reef. Those rocks were put on top of people. Jason, I don't know. No. I do know. Because most of the people don't even know. Most of the people don't know. There's no real way to learn about the artificial reef systems in Southern California unless you bought one of those old books that talk about them. But the problem is, Jason, most people today don't read anymore. They watch videos, they listen to podcasts. And so that's why our podcast and what I'm doing is so red hot, is because we're touching on all the things that most people don't even know exist, like the artificial reef system. And most people don't know that it was built with our fishing game money. And most people don't fish it proper. But when Russ Iser put Iser's Reef out there, he put it from 80 feet of water out to 92 feet of water. That is prime space for the artificial reefs. If they would have built that Wheeler North Reef down there in San Clemente outside in the deep water, it would have been a plethora of fish. There's an old boat sunk outside the pier in 100 feet of water. That thing has millions of sand bass, calico bass, big yellowtail. They all live on that thing. But the problem is all these reefs, they put them in way too shallow of water to get any of the pelagic fish, any of the sand bass, any of the barracuda, the yellowtail, the big white sea bass that roam up and down the coast out there in the squid beds. So we're going to talk about why they put them in the shallower water. And I believe it was because it was done with no education of what's going on out in the water, because you never really had anybody that was really into fishing that was building these things except for Russ Iser. So when Russ put his reefs out there, and he used a lot of that money when he was selling fishing line, and when he built the first string, and if you bought a ticket to go on the boat, all that money, Russ was in way ahead of his time as far as building structure for the fish in California. Now in Florida and in the Gulf Coast, there's a lot of people that build artificial reefs. Out here on the West Coast, after Russ Iser was done, it was pretty much no one could do it anymore in California because of the Coastal Commission, because of the for lack of a better word, the environmentalists that don't want us to utilize the ocean and don't understand how structure helps all the fish in the ocean. These artificial reef systems, if you were to go out there and dive them like our good buddy Rick does all the time, and I used to dive them all the time, they're full of mussels that are twice the size of your hand. They're full of scallops. They're full of abalone. But the problem is most of them are in too shallow water. So when you have a lot of storms, they get sanded over. A lot of the good structure parts of them get all sanded up. Right now, if you were to go out there and look at these artificial reefs, the tops of them are pretty cleaned off now because we haven't had any storms. We haven't had a lot of movement and a lot of surge. So therefore, these reefs are very clean right now. So they've got a lot of scallops and mussels, and the kelp starting to grow on them. The deeper water ones, they don't get affected so much by that movement of the sand. When you have a big storm and a big surge, when they're out there in that 80, 90 feet of water, they're not going to get covered up like these inner ones. The ones in Imperial Beach, the ones off of Mission Beach, the ones off of San Onofre, the ones in Marina Del Rey. If you look at the chart and you look at, or you go on our hotspots videos and you look, all those things are set in 25 to 40 feet of water is about the deepest you're going to find them. That doesn't mean they're not holding fish. It just means they're real susceptible to all that movement, like Bill and I were talking about when we had the big swell a month ago. So now they're kind of probably cleaned off because that big swell pushed all that sand off of them, pushed all that sand in towards the beach. So now they're a much cleaner reef. They're going to hold a lot more fish. It's going to be a lot cleaner. You're going to be able to drop down and catch a lot more fish, but the diving on them is just going to be absolutely. Hey, Bo, how are you, man? Thank you. Thanks for joining us. And I get here you're going hoop netting again, Lisa. Nice of you to join us. I guess you're going with Justin tomorrow night. Pretty excited about the live show tomorrow night with you guys out there hooping. And tomorrow during the day, gang, we're going to have someone from Dana or Sportfishing on the show to talk about the new halibut derby that's going on. My sister Donna just launched the halibut derby in Dana Point Harbor. Before we get going, though, I just want you all to know today is sponsored by Fishing Booker. FishingBooker.com sponsors the shows on Thursdays. Without Fishing Booker sponsorship, we would not be able to do this show. We need our sponsors to help us do the show. It takes a lot to prep the show. It takes a lot for Elliot to get everything ready for the show. It takes a lot to do this show. So FishingBooker.com, thank you very much. Gang, we'll show you a little video with FishingBooker.com in a little while. FishingBooker.com is where Dana Or Sport Fishing does most of their advertising. Where on most of the 6-pack charter boats up and down the California coast, Oregon, Washington, Florida, Alaska, New Zealand, Australia, all over the world. Fishingbooker.com is how you can find a boat to go fishing on wherever you're at. So check out fishingbooker.com when you're on vacation, wherever you're going, whenever you're going anywhere. Cubby Paul, I'm glad you made it through the operation, buddy. It's good to see you on the other side. And you were 100% correct as usual. Those damn doctors, man, it just seems like they are just playing a game with you, buddy. I am so happy that you're on the other side. It's amazing that we were able to go do all the cool stuff we did while you were that freaking sick, dude. And you were telling everybody, and no, those damn doctors just would not listen. It sucks, man. I'm so sorry, buddy, but I'm glad you're on the other side and you're here. And fishingbooker.com is where Donna Kalis, Dana Orr Sport Fishing, she advertised there. All the San Diego landings, most of the Central California landings, they're all advertising on there. If you have a charter boat, I definitely suggest you get involved with fishingbooker.com. They're going to help find you the clients that you're having a hard time finding. If you're not working with fishingbooker.com, you're probably not running very many trips. A lot of captains, a lot of guys call me up and always ask me, Dave, can you help? Dave, can you help us? Dave, can you help us? I have my guys. I got Al, I got Pablo, I got Justin. Those guys are all part of fishingbooker.com. People wonder why we're so busy all the time. Well, it's because of fishingbooker.com, plus the podcast, plus all the reels, plus all the different things that Justin, Pablo, and Al and I do. But Fishing Booker is a big part of our family, and because of them, we get to do these shows. And Dana Orr Sport Fishing, if you want to get out on this these halibut trips and do all the stuff we're talking about with the halibut derby, which is right here. This is the halibut derby. It started 17 days ago in Dana Orr Sport Fishing. There's the rules. Here's what we're talking about. You go on one of the Dana Orr Sport Fishing open party boats. You're going to get entered there if you want. Oh, wait a minute. Look at that. Fishingbooker.com for your next fishing trip, gang. But also any charter boat captains, anybody that owns a charter boat, you should be involved in fishingbooker.com. If you want to get trips, if you want to run trips, fishingbooker.com is your fastest, quickest, easiest way to come in contact with clients, people that you need. Look at, there's Dana Orr Sport Fishing right there. They got a cool part of fishingbooker.com where you get to meet the captain that's going to take you out. You get to listen to a little interview with them. There's a lot of stuff going on over at fishingbooker.com. So don't sleep on that. Put it in your phone. Be ready to use them whenever you're on vacation, wherever you're at. Fishingbooker.com is your key to getting out there and going fishing. We all want to go fishing, and Fishing Booker will make that happen wherever you're at, whenever you're there. And there's the real fun. Original boat from the San Clemente Pier. My dad had that boat since the early 50s. I think that thing came online in the early 50s, if not the late 40s. But it's been a part of the Dana Orr Sport Fishing Fleet, the San Clemente Sport Fishing Fleet, for a very long time. And why are we showing that? Because it's halibut derby time, gang. You want to get involved with this halibut derby at Dana Orr Sport Fishing? You go on any of their boats. You can go and sign up when you buy your ticket to go out on the boat to be a part of the derby, because you just do not know when you're going to catch that halibut of a lifetime. The halibut derby numbers are changing all the time. You can go to DanaOrrSportFishing.com, follow along on the halibut derby, find out who the leaders are, what fish, how big is the halibut you need to catch right now to get it. And then they give away a phenomenal. It all depends on how many people get involved, how big the prize is going to be. It all depends on how many times you enter. There's so many different things that go with this. 19.4 is the fish right now to beat. 19.4. That is a beautiful California halibut. That's not one of your guys in Alaska's big giant whopper halibuts. That is a spectacular California halibut. Look at that thing. And what in the heck? Yeah, Brian Woolley right there on the Sum Fun with that beautiful halibut for that nice man. You don't know if you're going to be the guy that catches it. It would suck to go on one of the open party trips out of Dana Orr Sport Fishing and not be in the halibut derby. And then there's all kinds of benefits to being in there. Plus, you're going to be going out there and supporting my family, my sister, my brother, the Dana Orr Sport Fishing family, the Don Hansen name, the whole thing. Dana Orr Sport Fishing is a great place to bring your kids and go fishing at, and you won't be disappointed. Service is number one priority. They take really, really good care of the people when they go fishing with them. You're not going to be disappointed. I promise you that. So go to DanaOrSportFishing.com or give them a call at 949-496-5794 and get out there. You can enter the halibut derby every single time you go. The boats go out every single day, 7 days a week. And you can get out there, go on the Dana Pride, go on the Some Fun, the Real Fun, any one of the Dana Orr Sport Fishing boats. When you're on the boat, you paid your couple of bucks to get in the halibut derby, you're in. And you may be the guy or the gal that wins that big halibut derby. Right now, it's going to 19.4 pound fish. That's a fish that can be beat very easily, but that is still a beautiful fish. Don't want to take anything away from the young man that caught that fish. So check out Dana Orr Sport Fishing. Check out fishingbooker.com. They kind of go hand in hand with each other, but if you're thinking about going on a boat, please check out DanaOrSportFishing.com. You're supporting my family. You're supporting my sister and my brother and my father's legacy. There's a lot of history down there at Dana Orr. So check all that out. Thank you very much, Elliot. And we'll talk about the halibut derby. Now, I just got here. I've been driving. Like you all know, I've been driving. I drove 2,200 miles since last Saturday. But we have the couch here in the house. Ron's downstairs starting to set it up with Kelly Girl. I'm up here doing my podcast, but I guarantee you tomorrow on the show, I'll be able to show all of you the couch. I'll be down there later causing havoc, probably making a mess. Kelly had the house spotless when I walked in, but that's what's going on here, gang. We made it. We're here. It's fishingbooker.com Thursday, but look at that video. Elliot and I are just blown away. Like all of our videos, this has to do with fish. You're going to have a hard time finding any videos in our collection that don't have to do with fishing. Like the one that we had back in 2022, that was War Heroes on Water in Newport Beach, California, that helicopter and the fundraiser for the Navy SEALs. I don't know how much more fishing you can get on that. Then you look at these videos that are hot right now. We got 3.5 million views on how to fillet a halibut. I think that's a fish. I'm tying up a fishing boat right there. I think that's got to do with fishing. I know I went to Jay Brewer's and we made some videos with some snakes and some alligators, but we also were there feeding catfish and doing some catfish stuff. But you might find 10 videos in the 4,800 videos that we have. And tomorrow there'll be 4,803 videos. Every day we post more videos about fish and about fishing and about doing stuff fishing. That's what your saltwater guide is all about. It's all about fishing. And this video right here that you're seeing, 34.9 million views. I think we could say 35. What do you guys think? Remember yesterday when we went live, it had 34.2 million views. That's a lot of views today, gang, on a fishing website that talks about fishing. I don't know. Go look around at the fishing guys and see how many views they have on Insta. This is just Instagram. We're viral on TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, Spotify, Apple, Megaphone. You're going to have a hard time not seeing us, the fishing page. And it's so funny. Someone was telling me that we have a video about a helicopter dropping dropping guys on the back of a boat. That's got nothing to do with fishing. I don't know. There was fishing poles on the boat. It was in the water. It was on a yacht that fishes all over the world. That's pretty, I think that's got a lot to do with fishing. But back to what we were talking about. I know. It's funny. It's jealousy. That's all it is. There's a couple of people out there that are jealous, can't figure out what we're doing, so they got to try to find the negative in everything. It's just the way it always has been. It's okay. I'm going to be just fine. The people that are talking about it, I'll get tired of listening to them here sooner or later.
Where's the helicopter?
Believe me.
I can't see a helicopter.
Then they're going to be like super bummed because it's going to be that way. But back to what we were talking about the artificial reef systems, gang. Most of these fish you're seeing our members catch, most of the stuff that's being done this time of year is all being done on the artificial reef systems. These reefs it's super important to figure out where they are and learn how to anchor up on them and learn how to see what the conditions are on these artificial reefs. And if you can try to figure out what the condition is, which way is the back of the boat going to be pointed when I anchor, so that when I go to the back of my boat and drop my line in the water, I have an opportunity to get to where the fish are. Yep, you want to be able to make sure your line is going where the fish are. Hey, John Milton, good to see you, buddy. Thanks for joining us tonight. Matt Ryan, Darren, everybody that's here. I can't even believe the audience is massive as usual. Justin's fishing show yesterday, gang, on Facebook alone had 10,000 views on that live show with Justin yesterday fishing. And he's experimenting with these underwater cameras now. We got some phenomenal footage of fishing underwater. You're going to get to start to see the artificial reefs from underwater, which are going to be incredible. I've dove all of them, and they're an unbelievable dive, but they are so full of fish. But now we're going to talk a little bit more. There he is, live yesterday. He had a phenomenal show, you guys. Thank you all for watching. Thanks for jumping in and jumping out throughout the time. It was just a great day. And thank all the sponsors that allow this to happen. They're watching live video from his phone of the camera going down to the bottom. So we got so much stuff going on at your Saltwater Guide, but gang, I just want you to understand it's all fishing related. It's all fishing related. Everything we do. When we got live fishing shows going all day, guess what those are? They're fishing shows. Yep. Enough of that. So back to what we're talking about. So this artificial reef system, there's so many different rock piles in all the artificial reefs. Out there at Isers, there's 9 different rock piles. Down there at San Onofre, the Camp Pendleton artificial reef system, there's about 11 rock piles there. As you go down the coast, you got the Buccaneer, you got all the different artificial reefs off of Oceanside. If you were to take a chart and start to look, you would go, wow, there is a phenomenal amount of artificial reefs in Southern California. There's even artificial reefs in the closed areas in the MLPs that my father and I were talking about in the meetings when they were closing the coastline. We were talking about the artificial reef system, and we couldn't get anybody to tell us, how can you close something and take it away from us when we built it? You're trying to save the fish on the structure that we built. It doesn't make any sense. And my father couldn't get an answer. God rest his soul. We didn't understand what was going on. Now we're about to lose the sand bass in Southern California. We are fighting very hard. As soon as we get a chance to post the link to get on the meeting that they're going to have on the 12th of February, every single one of you that are watching my podcast right now, you need to circle that on your calendar. You need to put a alarm on your phone. We all need to show up. I don't care if you're at work. Remember, the last thing you all want to do at work is work anyway. So you can link on it from your phone. I'm going to give the link out every single day once they make it available. By law, they have to make the link available 14 days before the meeting. So we're coming up to crunch time. We should start to see that link starting to show up on the 29th. I think that would be 14 days before the 29th. Yeah, that would be 14 days before if the meeting's on the 12th. So we should start to see it on the 29th, and then I will post the link every single day on this show until that meeting goes live. And I would hope to God that you all share it as much as you possibly can. And mark your phones today. Put it on your alarm. You do not want to miss the 12th. I don't care if you like sand bass or you don't like sand bass, because this has nothing to do with fish. This has everything to do with taking away one more thing from us as far as the fishing stuff goes. And they just take a little bit at a time, a little bit at a time, a little bit, and then we look up and we have nothing. We're almost to the point where we don't have much anyway. And now they're going to take away the fish that is our backbone in Southern California. The barred sand bass is what this industry was built on in California. We can't let them take it. We can't. We've got to stand up this time. And we can't let them have any more. They took the limit of sand bass from 10 to 5 on one day. And they took the size limit from 12 inches to 14 on the same day. And now they want to take them all. They don't want us to have any. So I need your help, gang. I need all of you to show up on your phones, on your laptops, on your iPads to this meeting. We want to make this the most attended meeting ever for Southern California fishermen, and we can do it. We have the power. We have the followers. We can do it. Why am I talking about the sand bass? Because all these artificial reefs have sand bass on them. That's one of the prime fish to go fish. What a phenomenal fish. It got most of us hooked on fishing when we were little kids. And there's so many little kids that need to experience this. So I'm going to talk about it until till the day that meeting goes off. And now back to what we were talking about the artificial reefs. I'm sorry, I get off on tangents sometimes when I'm reading the comments, and then I think, oh yeah, we got to talk about closures of the sand bass. We got to talk about the dirty, rotten sea lions. We got to talk about all kinds of stuff. I would love an opportunity to get on a big worldwide podcast like Theo Vaughn or Joe Rogan or somebody like that, where we could talk about the California sea lion, the really filthy, dirty animal. And why is it a really dirty, filthy animal? And why am I so worried about it? Because I am. And I'd love to get on one of those podcasts. I don't know if that'll ever happen. It would be probably a pretty phenomenal episode for any podcaster. I know every time I'm on anybody else's podcast and we bring it up and we go down that rabbit hole, they're just blown away. They can't even believe it. Like when I was with Tom Rowland last week, they just go, what the heck? Yeah, and they're not turd rollers. People call them turd rollers because they eat their boogers. Anybody that calls a barred sand bass a turd roller, well, we already know they like boogers and they eat them full speed. I'm sorry, but that's our fish. That's our pride and joy. That's the fish that built the West Coast fishery. So, gang, when you go out there to fish these artificial reefs, our good buddy Al Clowers makes a chum tube that is insane. A lot of the members have the chum tube. The chum tube, Tim, Matt, Jason, Darren, you guys, when that chum tube's in the water and you're anchored on the artificial reef the right way, it is absolutely unbelievable the amount of fish that come off that reef, isn't it? You're just blown away by the sheer volume of fish when that chum tube's back behind the boat and there's a little bit of downhill current and it's moving them away. Moving that chum away. Yeah, grumpies. That's perfect, Justin. Absolutely. That's what we called them forever. We never called them turd rollers. Question, are all the ARs made of rock? Nope. There's some off of the Horseshoe area that are made out of railroad cars. There's some up in what is in Marina del Rey, and Bill and I talked about it before, that are made out of old toilet bowls. There's a lot of Iser's reef is made out of old concrete rebar. It's pretty amazing. There's so much different structure. Yeah, some of them are made from rocks. A lot of them are made from old stuff that was laying around back in the day when you could actually put stuff in the water in Southern California. Yeah. That chum tube works absolutely phenomenal. And we had a video we posted the other day on the website showing it, showing the fish coming right to it when Al throws it in the water. There's a lot to be said for making sure you got that chum tube on your boat. It's going to save you a phenomenal amount of chum money, and you're going to be able to catch fish with that chum tube in the water. It starts and John Stanley loves it when I talk about this, but when you have the chum tube in the water, it starts to increase the prey density level. When you start to increase the prey density level in the water, all of a sudden, all this magic starts to happen behind your boat. When I'm out fishing sea bass, I'm always throwing chunks of squid all day long over the side. Not 50 pounds of it, but a handful at a time. Up the starboard side, not straight off the back of the boat, but up the starboard side so that it drifts down into the water column. And then you got all the little mackerel eating it, and the blue perch and the calico bass, and you just keep talking. And then the sheephead, and then Mr. White Sea Bass, and then Mr. Yellowtail, and everything. It's just a big machine going on behind your boat. But if you don't have the right size hook, if you don't have the right size weight, if you don't have the right rod, if you don't have the right reel, if you're not doing everything perfectly right, you're not going to have the success. And that's where the website comes into play. I give a lot of information on the podcast every single day, but I also don't give everything because there's so much to know. So when you go over to the website at yoursaltwaterguide.com and you go and you type in artificial reefs, I believe when I did it yesterday on the drive, I think 70 plus videos popped up. It was 3 pages of videos on the artificial reef systems. Not only do I give you all the GPS numbers, which are important, but they're not the how-to. You can get the GPS numbers at West Marine on a laminated chart. But what I do is I explain to you how to fish each and every individual reef, how to anchor on it. Why do we anchor? Why? And I explain why we anchor. Why do we anchor? Well, because if you're drifting and you're chumming, well, your chum's not going, it's not helping you. You're drifting along. Let's say this is your boat and you're drifting along and the chum's coming off the back of the boat and you're drifting. All that chum keeps going over here and your boat's over here and all the fish are eating in here, but your line's nowhere near them. When this is the rock and I anchor my boat like this, so when I put my line in the water, my line goes back to the rock, if you will. That's the boat. The current's going that way. I anchor here, drop my line in the water. The line goes back to the rock. Also, the chum is raining down from the back of my boat. It's raining down on the rock. All the little fish are looking at the rock. They're looking up from the rock and they're seeing this food come raining down. They all start to come up into the food chain. As all the little fish are up there feeding, now the bigger fish are coming out of the rocks and coming off the sides of the reef and going, what in the holy heck is going on? Also, some of those fish are white sea bass or big halibut or a yellowtail or a giant calico or a giant sand bass. They eat those smaller fish. That's their food. So they're starting to look up there and they're getting into that feeding frenzy that's going on because the prey density level is so big. And then here comes Matt Ryan's bait, just swimming down in the middle of that mess. And giant sand bass, giant calico bass, somebody comes up and just grabs it. What was the best food on the road trip? We ate at San Felipe night before last, and we had the most unbelievable al pastor tacos with pineapple and queso on them. Oh my God, they were just insane. We also ate at a place called the Mission Hotel in Loretto on the first day on the way up. And my buddy Ron, who is Italian, had the best chicken parmesan he said he's ever had in his life. I had linguinis with clams and scallops, and it was so good that I know I'm a big fat slob. I ate two. I ate two dinners that night, and then I finished it off with a brownie with vanilla ice cream. But Ron had a brownie with vanilla ice cream too. But yeah, we ate some phenomenal food. And I had In-N-Out Burger when I came into San Diego for that 12 hours I was up there. I went to In-N-Out Burger and got me a giant 3x3 animal style fries with extra spread and extra grilled onions. Oh my gosh, it was so good. We ate very, very good on the trip. As soon as the show's over tonight, we're going over to one of my favorite places. And we're having more al pastor for dinner. And I'm having 2 al pastor tacos tonight and a Milanese steak. And that place is called La Taquisa. It's right across the street from where we live. It's pretty cool. It's right on the side of the road. It's a cool little taco stand with some really good food. But back to I'll answer your questions whenever you ask them, guys. But back to what we were talking about, the artificial reef system. It's super important to know the proper way to fish it. To do the chum, that's a big thing. That chum thing is going to be big. Then start to bring it down, like Bill Varney always says, the light line. That's what you're going to want to do on these artificial reefs. Darren's on here. Jason's on here. Tim's on here. Matt Ryan's on. All you guys that fish those artificial reefs, you know what I'm talking about. Go light. Go light line. 12 pounds, about as heavy as I would go. A number 4 or number 6 thin wire hook. A quarter or an eighth of an ounce of weight. Let the bait sink down in the water column. If you haven't been on a really good Sargo bite, you'll be impressed. Sargo, when you're diving, and Rick Myers, he's on here. Rick Meyer, you're on here. When you're diving, there's times where the Sargo gets so thick that they knock the light out. You can't even see the light. It's pretty amazing. It's pretty dang amazing the amount of Sargo that live out here. And oh my God, they're a phenomenal fish to eat. And they're so much fun to catch on the light line. They pull really hard. Most of them are about the size of a dinner plate. Once in a while, you'll get a big whopper. A lot of times you'll get some smaller ones, but the average size of a Sargo is a dinner plate. They're a croaker. They're the same family as the white sea bass. They have very, very nice white meat. Very, very good to eat. Fun to catch. We're still able to take those. They haven't caught on. As soon as one of these people find out about the Sargo, believe me, they're coming after them. They haven't found out about them yet. So they're not on any hit list right now. There's nobody wanting to take them. Yeah, I don't know what SoCal video. I don't know what this whole closure in Southern California is all about. I talk about it all the time because I don't want to live on a planet where we're not allowed to fish. I think it's super important for anybody that's watching this show that doesn't know to share this show. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, follow along on our YouTube channel, our TikTok, Facebook, wherever you like to watch your videos. We're viral there. We post 3 brand new videos every single day, and we do this live podcast on all platforms every single day, except for Sundays are the only day I take off. If you've never seen the show before, hit your calendar on hit your alarm on your phone and we'll try to watch it every day at noon. We're going to bring on one of the captains from Dana War Sport Fishing tomorrow. I hope. That was the plan yesterday. We'll see. My sister hasn't followed up with me, but hopefully he comes on and talks about this halibut derby and what's going on. And Iser's Reef in Huntington Beach is amazing with just some plastics, white hookup baits for the win. Yeah, hookup baits work fine. A lot of us can't afford all that fancy stuff, though. You know what works phenomenal is a strip of squid or a strip of a mackerel, a number 2 or a number 4 hook, a thin or number 4 or a number 6 hook, piece of fluorocarbon, a little tiny sliding sinker. You know, you just need a handful of stuff. A lot of people can't afford a tackle box full of artificials. If you can, great. If you can't, that's okay. Like I talked about the last 5 years, this bluefin thing, that's great. That's fun. But you got to have an extra grand every time you go to go do it. A lot of us don't have that. A lot of us just bought our boats. We just want to go fish. We want to go drop the anchor. We want to put on our trunks, grab a cold soda or cold water or cold whatever, adult beverage, whatever, hang out on our boat, catch fish when we throw our line in the water, hang out with our family and our kids. A little lead head always works good. But it's not about whoever spends the most money. And really, how many more people need to show me a picture of a dead bluefin? You know? And that's what all you're doing. Bluefin are not good to eat. So I don't understand that allure of them. They cost a fortune to catch. I don't understand that. They pull phenomenally hard. But you know what's fun? Anchoring up 10 minutes from the harbor on one of the artificial reefs, and you guys will be blown away. They're everywhere. And the pipes, all the pipes are artificial reefs. All the pipelines are artificial reefs. So they're all artificial reefs. They all fish the same. The pipes fish the same way as the artificial reefs, and they all fish that way because they're all full of fish. But most people don't know how to fish for them. And 90% of the people on our website, you guys, this will blow your mind. 90% of the people on our website never watch the how-to videos. And I don't know what else I can do. Everything I tell you, gang, is done from a place where I want you to catch more fish. I've been blessed with the opportunity to take people fishing in Southern California as a deckhand or as a captain since 1975, 76. That's when I first started working on the boats when I was a kid. And all the stuff that I try to help you learn, there's no one else out there doing it for you. There's no one else out there showing you. There's no one else out there spending the time making 500 plus videos and explaining to you each and every little thing about it. I don't know why we all don't take advantage of that. I was thinking maybe a lot of it's ego. And someone told me, no, I think a lot of it's sheer laziness. I'm like, yeah, I don't want to say that. I just think their ego won't let them learn stuff. But you guys all have the opportunity. There's so many of you that are on here that I see on a daily basis that whenever you guys are logging on, I'm going to let the cat out of the bag. Whenever you guys log on to the website, whenever you watch a video, Elliot and I see it all. That's how it's done. We can see what you're watching, how you're watching, where you're watching. We get to see it all. All right. And so many people, when they cancel their subscription, this is what'll blow your mind. They're like, yeah, the website's not working for me. And I talk to everybody. I'm not trying to sell it. I already know you already made your decision. You're leaving, but I just want to see why. And I'll go and I'll look and I'll go, well, they've been a member for 2 years. And they never watched one video. No wonder you don't want to be a member. It's like, wow. I couldn't imagine signing up and then not watching any videos. What do you think happens? Yeah, I'm not lying. Levi, I can take you on a trip on this website and show you so many people that are paying a monthly fee and they never watch a video. They don't watch the game plans. They're paying for the game plan. They don't watch the game plan. You know where I see most of them? On the Hotspots videos. And I have to tell you, the Hotspots videos have the GPS numbers. GPS numbers are worthless if you don't know what to do when you get there. I don't care what you're fishing for. If you don't know what to do when you get there, it does not matter how many numbers you have. You can have all the numbers in the world, but when you get there, let's just say, for instance, White Rock at San Clemente Island, when you get there and you get to White Rock at San Clemente Island and you're like, okay, I got the GPS numbers. Yeah, you do. How deep am I supposed to look for this thing in? Or what am I looking for? The GPS numbers don't tell you, is it a rock? Is it a hard bottom? Is it the edge of the kelp? They don't tell you any of that. They don't tell you, do you anchor on the south side of it? Is it an uphill current spot? Is it a downhill current spot? And this all matters. Like you can't even believe. I was with Roy Rose at his house a few days ago, and that we were having that conversation walking down the beach, flicking lures into the surf. And we were just laughing about how people think I got all Roy's spots. Well, that doesn't matter. Roy's not there explaining to you how to fish all of his spots. I got Mark Wish's book. Mark Wish's book is wonderful. It has 1.5 zillion GPS numbers in the back of the book. But what it doesn't do is tell you how to fish each and every individual spot. You know where it does? Your saltwater guide. We have hundreds of spots. And yeah, like Matt Ryan says, he went down the rabbit hole big time. He wrote down the notes. On your GPS, when you're putting the GPS numbers in, there's a little section that says comments. That's where you write down, this is an uphill spot. This is a downhill spot. This is an offshore wind spot. This is an onshore wind spot. But like I've been saying for many, many years, every single thing matters, gang. What you tie on your line, what pound your test is, how big your hook is, and then your anchor. Does your anchor actually allow you to hold the bottom, or does your anchor drag every time you drop it because you don't know how to drop it? All those things matter like you can't even believe. And I had that's a perfect, yes, Matt, don't be lazy. I had a perfect conversation with a man the other day, not trying to throw anybody under the bus. He watches all the time. He was telling me how they weren't being successful, him and his son going out and fishing the artificial reefs. He goes, Dave, you talk about them all the time on your game plans. You talk about them all the time on your podcast. We're going out there. And no, Tim, don't worry. I'll fix that for you. As soon as we're done, I'll call you. It's okay. I got it. That's just a little glitch. I got it. I'll fix it up for you. I'll fix it. So he told me, no, Dave, I'm going out there and I'm drifting around them. I mean, is it that important to anchor on it? Right back to what I said before, if you guys were listening 15 minutes ago. If you're drifting around out there on these artificial reefs and you're not chucking rubber lures, you want to fish, you want to catch something, normally you're using bait. A lot of guys are not proficient at casting. If you're not proficient at casting, lure fishing is going to suck. You got to know how to cast. You got to cast perfect, and you got to know where the rock is as you're drifting by these artificial reef structures. You have to know where it is. Is it on the port side? Is it on the starboard side? Is it in the back of the boat? Is it on the front of the boat? But when you anchor, and right now everything's marked with all these lobster traps, you can already tell which way the boat's going to lay when you get there because the lobster traps are all telling you. The little cone on the lobster traps where the rope's going down to that's the way your bow's going to point. Is exactly the way that lobster trap's pointing. So you can kind of figure out how the boat's going to lay now. And then the guy was like, well, how really important is it? Well, it's the most important part. If you're not willing to anchor, then that's a good day to stay home and do some honeydews around the house. Go do something. Go paint the front yard or go pull some weeds in the backyard. Go do something other than fishing because you've already told me you're not really worried about catching anything. You just wanted to go out on the boat for some reason and drive around and burn fuel and buy some bait, not catch anything. You've got to come, especially in this time of this year, you got to be willing to drop your anchor. If you're not willing to drop your anchor, your success is going to fall off dramatically. You got to be willing to drop the anchor, gang, because the fish are on their house. They're not nilly-willy just swimming around out there. And the anchoring on the spot is going to come in to play crucially, whether you catch fish or not. Sometimes you guys have been on a sport boat and you watch the captain and you're like, oh my gosh, I wish you would just stop. I just want to fish. No, you don't. Y'all want to catch. That's why you went on that boat. That's why you chartered that boat. That's why you did what you did. That's why the guy, if he's a good captain, he's resetting the anchor. He's resetting it because your lines aren't going to the fish. So he pulls the anchor, drives around a circle again, and then redrops the anchor because he wants to be on the spot. Look at the lobster buoys, gang. I didn't even talk about this. It's been a long time since we had this conversation. When you get out there now, before they pull them all out of the water, which they'll do in February, they'll start removing them because they got to get them out of the water by the middle of March. Before they do that, get out there and start looking and gathering up your spots that you were too lazy to write them down. Go drive around the lobster traps and just push mark. And then put on the mark what it is. It's a spot off of Seal Beach. There's 3 lobster traps on it. I drove over it. It's a little rock, whatever. Then when you go to drop your anchor, look at the lobster buoys. And that's going to tell you which way the boat's going to lay. Drive over your rock. Drive over your rock. I have a video on the website that shows you. Figure out where the rock is. Drive over it. Right before you kick your anchor over, make sure your boat is pointed exactly the way the lobster traps are pointed. That is how it's going to lay. I don't care if you thought you could think you could make the boat lay a different way. There's only one power that can change the way the boat lays. And that higher power is not you, Matt Ryan, no matter what you think. That higher power is the power up above. That's who's going to decide which way your boat lays. That's who's going to decide which way the wind blows. That's who's going to decide which way the current goes. All these things are super important, gang. There's so much to learn to be successful when you go fishing on your boat. You didn't go buy your boat so you could drive around and fish for boats all day. You bought your boat so you could go fish and catch fish on your boat. So let's start learning. Let's go down the rabbit hole. Let's start to watch these videos. Let's talk to Darren. Let's talk to Lisa. Let's talk to Jason. Let's talk to Matt Ryan. All these people are on the website more than willing to talk to you. They want you to see how cool all this information is. I don't care if you like me or not. The information is the information, and it's real information that I'm sharing from all the years of experience of doing it wrong. I did everything you could possibly do wrong. I did exactly what you're doing today. What you're doing wrong today, I did that 45, 50 years ago. And I did it as wrong as anybody. I didn't just get on the boat, go out there and start whaling on the fish. It took a long time to learn how to do it. It took a lot of pounding my head against the wall of the wheelhouse because I was hard-headed and I figured I knew everything. And then you find out one day you don't know anything, and then you start to go down the rabbit hole and you start to learn. If you're not being successful on your private boat today, it's not my fault. It's your fault because you're not willing to watch the videos. It's your fault because you're not willing to go down the rabbit hole, take a few minutes, do what Matt Ryan did. Matt Ryan has no free time, but he took the free time because he bought a boat. And he promised his wife if we got the boat, we'd get some fish to catch. And we'd be able to take them home and eat them. His wife loves to eat fish. He loves to eat fish. His friends and family love to eat fish. He needed to produce. He needed to catch fish. So he went down the rabbit hole. Darren, same thing. Tim Ogilvy, same thing. The people that are on here that are very successful, it's because they're willing to go down the rabbit hole and learn all the different things. My buddy Ron and I, we were driving around. 3 years ago, Ron was barely even a guy that I knew. He was a member. Now we hang out all the time together, just like all the other people that are on here. You guys are my friends. You guys are my family. There's nobody else running a website that's going to want you to hang out with them, go cruise around with them, go on a 2,200-mile road trip to get a couch for his wife? Come on. Or spend the time. Every one of you that are members of the website have talked to me more than once on the telephone. I'll answer your calls every time you call. You're at Catalina. You're at San Clemente Island. You're on the coast. You call me up. We talk. I send you spots. Where I'm like, where are you at? What are you looking at on the beach at Catalina? Oh, okay. I know exactly where you are. Here, go to these numbers. Which way is the current going? Is it going uphill? Is it going downhill? Is the wind blowing east? Is the wind blowing west? Is the wind blowing north? Oh, okay. It's blowing north. All right. Go here. Go drop your anchor right there. Next thing I know, I get a bunch of pictures. Wow, Captain Dave, thank you. Yep. I want to help all of you catch more fish. Do yourselves a favor. You're on the website already. Go watch some of the videos. No, I don't, buddy. I love you, man. And I love the phone calls. I love to talk fishing. Kelly Girl will tell you guys, see us at the PCS show. I talk fishing all day. And when I'm not talking fishing, I'm talking about fishing. I love fishing. I love taking people fishing. I love teaching people how to fish. I want you all to stay in this industry. When I started the guide service, oh my gosh, 2000. Well, I did my first guide trip in 1990 because I made some hot spots videos on VHS tapes. And at the back of it, it said, if you need any help, call me at this number and I'll go with you on your boat. And that's when the guide service was made. In 1990, I went on my first guide trip. Yes, I did, Al Clowers. I made it home. I got all the stuff out. Ron's downstairs putting it together. I got your game plans up. Thank you for your game plans, Al. They were very, very, very good. You even told everybody the truth about how you didn't catch a lobster the other night. But yeah, I made it home. Ron's putting the couch together. This is the new mic that you and your wife got for me that I had delivered. The mic, all the stuff's working. Everything we got down here, no problems. Everything was perfect. And gang, if you want, we got two things going on. I keep forgetting to talk about it. And thank you very, very much, Mark, for reminding me. If you guys want to get free stuff at the PCS show, you can show up wearing one of my shirts at the PCS show or one of my hats or walk around drinking some coffee out of one of my mugs or wearing a pair of my underwear or some of my flip-flops or whatever you want. I have over 100 SKUs in the website. Check all of them out, pick something, show up to the PCS show wearing some of our stuff, okay? That's going to get you free stuff. Plus, you're going to look cool because you're going to be at a fishing show. You're going to be wearing the biggest influencer in Southern California stuff. That's going to be pretty bad, and you're going to be blown away. If you come to the PCS show and you don't have on our gear, you're going to see so many people wearing it. You're going to be like, how come I didn't buy one of Dave's shirts? I will have shirts and hats for sale in my booth, but I'm telling you, look at 15% off all merchandise. You guys, I'm still running the 15% off. Elliot told me to do it till it was showtime. So everybody has an opportunity to save 15% on the gear. You're going to show up to the show wearing that. Also, not very many people have done this. Just a very small amount, Renee. You guys are right there on the top. Take a picture of your child wearing my gear with a fish. I'm going to give away $100 at the end of the month. February 1st, we're going to give away $100 to one lucky family. If you take a picture of your children wearing our gear, holding up a fish. And then Kelly came up with the idea that's not fair because there's a lot of people that don't have kids. All you got to do is be wearing my gear and take a picture of you or your wife or your husband wearing some of my gear, holding up a fish. And then hashtag me on any social media platform that you are on. When you hashtag us, we'll know who you are. And we're going to grab an adult and we're going to grab a child and we're going to give away $100. if you want to win that $100 this month, it's pretty wide open. There hasn't been very many people that have participated in it. I'll try to talk about it more. I've talked about it probably 4 times this month. I'm sorry I haven't been talking about it more, but you need to go to the QR code on the screen. Those of you that are driving around in your cars, just go to Your Saltwater Guide, the store. Your Saltwater Guide, the store. Now, I just want to make an announcement for all of you that have been paying attention to me for a long time. Last week, big news. It is trademarked now. Your Saltwater Guide, I own the trademark. It's mine to the center of the earth. I own it. I paid a bunch of money to get it. It's mine. I got the letter last week, and I am super, super excited to own the trademark. Your Saltwater Guide, the logo. No one can use it. No, if anybody uses it, they're in big doo-doo. It's mine, the name and the logo, but the name alone is mine. The logo goes with the name, but it doesn't have to. Anybody else that uses Your Saltwater Guide, big trouble, which is great. Like Elliot told me, we are getting so massive, this social media thing, we had to protect it. So it's been 2 years. If you've never done a trademark, you'll go 2 years. Yeah, it takes every minute of it, and it takes an epic amount of money, and it takes a really good lawyer to get you trademarked. And they didn't want to trademark guide. They were like, no, you got to leave the guide. You can be Your Saltwater, but you can't use. I'm like, I don't want Your Saltwater. I'm like, it all has to be one. I fought it, and I won, and I got it, and it's mine, and it's mine forever. It's so bitch. It's such a great feeling, everybody. If you ever done it before, if you've ever trademarked something, you'll know what I'm talking about. It is absolutely the greatest feeling in the world. I've had it for a very long time, but I didn't know you needed to protect it, because at the end of the day, I'm just a silly old fisherman. I don't know. And Elliot, thank God for Elliot. He's like, dude, you got to protect that. You got to get that. You got to get that. You're too big now. Someone's going to swipe that. Well, they can't. They couldn't have got it for the last 2 years because we've been in court. We've been doing all this stuff. No one could have got it. We've been secured in it for 2 years, but it was official last week. Elliot and I will post the letter over on the website. We're not going to post it for the world to see, but we'll post it on the website. That is pretty damn good, gang. I'm pretty damn happy. Everybody, thank you so much for watching all my silly videos. Thanks for watching everything we do. Thanks for being there for us. Thanks for all the support. Thanks for all the shirts and hats and everything that you guys have purchased at our store, and everything you do for me on a daily basis. I'll keep doing what I do. What I would love for a bunch of you to do is to send me on the website, on the community, what you would like me to talk about on the podcast. You got some guests, some people that you'd like to see. We're at the point now where we can call a lot of different people. They answer the phone and they come on our show. Let me know if there's anybody, and if you know anybody that can help us save fishing. We think that if we could just get, I don't think Lizard Boy's going to be around much longer. It's pretty gnarly what's going on right now, but maybe he will. I mean, he stole $19 billion last year and nothing happened to him. Well, he didn't steal it. He stood up there and said, I lost it. I don't know where I put it. And everything's cool. So I'm hopeful something will happen, but I don't think anything's going to happen, to be perfectly honest. This is pretty tight over here in California. They're not letting any. What's he doing right now? That's right. He's MAGA proof in California. Do you even know what that word means? MAGA? You're going to tell me you're the leader and you're going to MAGA proof California. Unbelievable. So you don't want America to be great again. That's what you're telling us, regardless of the color of the guy or whoever he is. You're making sure that America won't be great again. All right. Unbelievable. Hopefully you like the new mic, the new everything. Everything's working. Gang, share this, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I'll see you all at noon tomorrow. We're back on the noon time frame. We're back in town. The boys are back. Thank you very much for watching. Everybody have a great night. Turn off the news. They're all live. Or maybe just for some humor, just watch Lizard Boy